The Romans have captured our modern imaginations for centuries, whether it's their military might, culture, architecture, cities like Rome, Pompeii, and Venice, or gladiators. People seem drawn to Rome and its history, and they seem almost mysterious to us, even though everyone studies the Romans at least once in their school careers. What most people forget, however, is that in one form or another, Rome was a dominant power in the known world from arguably 509 BC to 1453 AD, so what we usually think of as Rome is only the tip of the iceberg. You can tell a lot about a civilization by how they were founded, and while we don't know exactly how Rome was founded, the myths that we're told say quite a lot about their culture. The most prevalent myth says that Romulus and Remus, two twin boys and descendants of Aeneas, a Greek hero, and sons of the god of war Mars, are left to die, saved by a she-wolf and raised by shepherds. Eventually, they decided to found a city, and after an argument over the proposed location, Romulus committed fratricide and killed his brother Remus. Who knows, maybe if it had happened the other way around, it'd be called Rome and not Rome. But the myth idolizes murder and survival of the fittest, and boy does that say a lot about what the Romans valued as a culture. The history of Rome is generally split into four different segments. The first is the Kingdom of Rome, which lasted from 753 BC to 509 BC. Next came the Roman Republic from 509 BC to 27 BC, and ended with the Senate's appointment of Julius Caesar's son as an emperor. This led to the Roman Empire, which dominated most of the known world until it effectively split in western and eastern halves in 285 AD. The western half, now known as the Western Roman Empire, lasted only until 476 AD, but the eastern half, now known as the Byzantine Empire, and whose capital was in Constantinople, now Istanbul, lasted until 1453 AD. Each one of these periods had a different culture, set of ideals, and government style that made it unique from the others, but there were certainly some similarities. There are plenty of videos that show the rapid expansion of the Roman Empire over its almost 2,000 years of history, so I won't go into that in too much detail here, but the Roman Empire basically got so big that the bureaucracy, or administration, was split in half between East and West. While Romans didn't see them as separate empires, they had very different fates due to a lot of factors. Religious differences, natural disasters, military defeats, and economic decline all played a huge part in the destruction of the West, while the East survived until they were eventually conquered by the Ottoman Turks. The dissolution, or breakup, of the Western Roman Empire was so significant that it's often used by historians as the beginning of the Middle Ages. While the Roman civilization has been gone for hundreds of years, its legacy has lasted well into the 21st century. The political and cultural landscape of Europe, which countries are where, what language they speak, and what religion they practice, can all be traced back to the influence of Rome. The structure of modern democratic and republican governments are based heavily on the Roman model, and even the architecture of our important buildings comes from the Romans. Everywhere you look, there are influences from Rome, and it continues to interest people around the world every day. Okay, let's look at some discussion questions. Number 1, why do you think people are so interested in Roman history today? Number 2, when you think of Rome, what do you think about and why?